Tonight on Fins TV, the message from Miami couldn't be any clearer. Achane is here to stay. With the Dolphins locking up their explosive playmaker with a new contract extension, the question is no longer whether he deserves to be paid. It's whether this is now Achane's team. As Miami enters a new era, the offense appears ready to revolve around its most dangerous weapon. Meanwhile, Malik Willis continues to command attention as he takes control of the huddle. Can he truly the one this new regime believes he can be? And as John Eric Sullivan and Jeff Hafley reshape the franchise in their image, are Dolphins fans witnessing the beginning of a true upgrade, or simply the start of another experiment? The Kings of Tuesdays are back. Fins TV is here.
Welcome to Fins TV, Sammy and Steven. Yeah, the Fins TV, Kings of Tuesday nights, no doubt. Miami Dolphins football, that's the only creed. At Hard Rock Stadium, we get what we need. The Fins TV crew is here, we're breaking the span. With Shari, Jason, Matt, and Adrian. This energy is perfect, you can feel the heat. Turning up the volume on this reggaeton beat. No matter what, at least we have each other. Charlie, at least we have each other. Dolphins fans, through every single victory and every plan. Oh yeah, at least we have each other. Dolphins fans, the Fins TV Kings with the mic in our hands. Dolphins Nation, yeah, you know the score. No matter what, at least we have each other. Who could ask for more? Oh yeah, at least we have each other. Dolphins fans. Oh yeah, at least we have each other. Dolphins fans. No matter what, we have each other.
Fins TV, the show's about to start. Miami Dolphins, we're the Kings, we play it smart. Sammy and Steve, they bring the heat. Big finish energy can stay in your seat. We have each other, we're family. No other Fins TV forever under the Miami cover. Miami perfect, we're living the dream. Fins TV brings the Kings of Tuesday.
Welcome to Fins TV. I hope it's Sammy, aka at Fins Sammy on X. I'll call my co-host Steve Hallett. Steve, welcome back to the June edition of Fins TV.
June edition, Sammy. It's been a while. What are we at, about 5-6 weeks? I don't know.
Yes, almost 6 weeks. Yes.
We're all so much older now, much more mature.
More sophisticated, man. Sophisticated.
I was gonna grow some facial hair, but Shari said no. So all right, ready for a good show tonight. OTA edition.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, that thing with the beard, Shari, I don't think Shari's going to say yes. So I think it's time to move on from that because I don't think that's negotiable. So on this episode of Fins TV, you know, Devon Achane had a light, you know, passive aggressive holdout. You know, will he come back? Will come back or not? But Devon Achane is back after resigning with the Dolphins. We're going to talk about the importance of Devon Achane for the Dolphins. You know, is this Devon Achane's team? And also in the show, of course, Malik Willis, QB number 1. You know, been some rumors that he's been being pushed by Queen Evers. That's not a bad thing, and we're gonna talk about that, about how that's not a bad thing. But you know, he's really truly QB1 going into the season. And you know, Jeff Hafley, Matt Sullivan, they really have impressed a lot of people. Not only us on Fins TV, a lot of the media, a lot of the pundits, they're really impressed with they even Jimmy Johnson has some great comments about Jeff Hafley and the way they're doing things and Sullivan. You know, all things are going, you know, even better than expected. But you know, when the packs come on and the game starts and the Dolphins start playing, we're gonna have to wait and see. So that's why also we're gonna play Fins TV Overreaction. But we're gonna start with, of course, with Devon Achane's team.
For years, the Miami Dolphins offense revolved around quarterbacks, star receivers, and the search for the perfect system. But as the franchise enters a new era under new leadership, one question is beginning to take the center stage. Is this now Devon Achane's team? Fresh off his contract extension and coming off a stretch of explosive production, he has emerged as the most dangerous weapon on Miami's roster. His speed changes games, his versatility stresses defenses, and his presence demands attention every time he touches the football. As the Dolphins build toward the future, are they finally ready to make Achane the centerpiece of the offense? And if so, what does that mean for the identity of this team moving forward?
Well, Steve, after the purge, basically almost everything's left on offense is Devon Achane. Of course, Malik Willis now the quarterback, but on offense, after the purge, Malik Willis, Devon Achane is the only survivor. Getting an extension, of course, what is an extension? It's been debated by some if the Dolphins should truly invest that much money on running back. But you know, the Fins TV MVP, Devon Achane getting a contract extension. First, I want to go to the thoughts about the Dolphins bringing back Devon Achane after the contract extension, Steve.
Well, I think it was the logical move. I think that Hafley and John Eric Sullivan made it clear from the get-go that Achane was one of the pillars that they were going to build this team around. And, frankly, at what they're paying for him to come back and what he's done in terms of production, but he's entering season 4 and he's 24 years old and he's doing what he's doing right now. You know, I think one of the philosophies has always been you don't pay running backs that second contract because you backfill. I would find it extremely difficult to say that we could find that backfill. We certainly don't have it on the roster. I had hopes for Jalen Wright, Ollie Gordon. Maybe he can materialize into something, but Achane is one of one really in this league in terms of what he can do and how frequently he can do it. And if you give him the same load of carries that Cook got, that other top running backs in this league have, he washes the floor with the rest of all of them because that's what his yards per carry is. He's that productive, and it was a no-brainer to bring him back long-term for the Dolphins.
Absolutely, and basically he's the only weapon the Dolphins have right now. The only proven weapon for sure, because for sure it's the only one because we still have to wait and see what happens to Malik Willis on that wide receiver core. I say on Feedstock today with Bobby every single Thursday that it reminds me so much, and it's cringy, but it reminds me so much of the Hard Knocks episodes when Jeff Allen says we have a lot of 4, 5, and 6s, but you will have 1, 2s, and 3s. We're back to that square one right now. We're back to square one because right now, we don't have a lot of the wide receiver group. The offensive line is a work in progress. There's a lot of hope for the offensive line, of course, but we'll have to wait and see. So without further ado, let's welcome the Fins TV crew of course, the lovely Shari Hallett, Adrian Rainey of the Rainy Day Pod, and Mr. Perfect Matt Armstrong. Good evening, guys.
Mr. Armstrong.
Hello, everybody.
From the witness, the super agent, our very own 007 Man Armstrong. But I'm gonna start with ladies first. I'm gonna start with Shari. Shari, Devon Achane. We're talking so much about Devon Achane being the Fins TV Awards MVP, the Offensive Player of the Year. So important to this team. Of course, the only proven weapon the Dolphins draft right now, in my opinion, is Devon Achane because we have a lot of question marks. So the fact that they brought him back, it's not so much of a question, but is this right now Devon Achane's team because basically there's no one else.
100%. There's no question, and that's why he's being paid as if it is his team because he is ironically going to carry the ball and the team. Now, obviously, if Malik Willis steps up and gets pushed by you, or is like you said, never a bad thing to have somebody behind you pushing your number one guy because you want them to push each other to become the best they can be. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I'm glad to hear Ewers is pushing. I just want Willis to do better than what I'm hearing. But until we can show that we have more weapons, our only known entity is Achane. And he's a player who carried a team who was 26th in total offense, but he's in the top 3 of producers. That's not common. In fact, I'm fairly certain I read that not even McCaffrey could get a bottom-ranked offense into the playoffs and win a game. So we're asking a lot of him. I expect him to show up. He's a receiving threat. He's a running threat. If we can get Willis to run, then we're going to have that at least another dimension that we're adding in there. So it's not always going to be, guess what? It's Achane again. But as we've discussed in past seasons, even with Achane again, a defense gets tired. And you have to commit to that game. If this is your game and Miami is turning from this, high-powered air attack offense that we had for about 3 seconds with Tua and the gang, and now we're going to be a ground 'em and pound 'em and then a defensive powerhouse, then yes, you pay this guy, you pay him because he is what you have on offense until they show us otherwise.
Absolutely, 100%. Adrian, Devon Achane, is his team or not? Because basically, who else's team is gonna be? Malik Willis is still improving. Devon Achane was so much of the offense last year, but there were so many people that even said that he was underutilized. What are your thoughts? Is this right now Devon Achane's team, Adrian?
I wouldn't necessarily say it's his team, but it's definitely it absolutely has to be his offense for sure.
Fair enough.
Team-wise, I think it's going to be a defensive-led team until the offense can catch up. But, he's your only proven weapon. You guys just said it. They gave him the extension. They believe in him. And, defense has to account for him every time he's on the field. So, I believe the offensively, at least, it definitely should be Achane's offense. I don't know about the team yet. I don't know about that.
That's fair.
That's absolutely.
You deserve a beard and maybe a J-Rod mustache. You know what I'm saying?
My man!
He already has a wife that watches football with him every week and can carry her
I need a J-Rod style mustache.
Adrian,
Yeah.
I thought you were my friend.
Yeah, those are deep waters, Adrian. You better be careful where you're going with that because
I thought you were my friend.
It's one time.
No.
One time, wear it on the
One
show.
time.
Cut
One
it
time.
off.
The problem is it takes time to get there, and that's time I won't be touching his face. So, how much does he want a beard?
You got a point. How could you resist touching this face? You know what
I
I'm saying?
can't. Not when it's all smooth like that.
I know.
Yeah. Matt seems very, very interested in that conversation. So I'm going to go quickly with Matt. Before that, let's go to some of the comments. Good evening to Bobby Finstow. The only place to be on Tuesday
Bobby,
night.
is there any question?
Yeah. Is this the worst Dolphins roster ever? That's a good question, guys. I want to start with Steve before I go to Matt. Matt, is this the worst Dolphins roster ever? I said no, but what do you think?
Did they watch the 2008 Miami Dolphins? The
Oh boy, the Cam Cameron Dolphins. Oh.
We all lived that. Yeah.
I see questions like that, and it's a great question. It's not. The answer to the question is no. This is not the worst Dolphins roster ever. It's not even close to being the worst Dolphins roster ever. But if you are old enough to yell at the top of your lungs, yes, 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 because Greg Camarillo caught a slant pass from Cleo Lemon and took it to the house. And like everybody that can hear my voice did that way back in 2007. And what did it get us? Jake Long.
I said if I had any more kids, they were going to be named Camarillo. I mean, that's what you do, right?
Yeah.
I did, thankfully.
So, again, it's a great question. It's a great, hypothetical, but no, I would be really speechless, to be honest, if this Dolphins team was that bad or even approached that kind of futility. There's a lot of people. It's easy. It sells. It's clicks. It's something that generates conversation. But I don't believe that they'll be. They might be in the running for the first pick, but I would be shocked if it was really that bad of a season. Injuries, a total failure to buy in. There's a lot of things that go into that, and I think Cam Cameron is a perfect example of it. He was dead man walking the day that he
horrible.
Honestly,
just horrible. Cam Cameron was horrible.
I don't even know what happened to that guy. But I digress. The conversation is the Miami Dolphins, the offseason. This is why we're here, to see everybody. I do want it, before I forget it, because I'm liable to forget it, before we go any further, I want the audience to know that Steve and I serve in one of the most elite organizations in the United States military, and the fact that this man cannot make his own decision to grow a beard, facial hair, is disheartening.
He can make the decision, but the choice is facial hair or a wife that wants to kiss his face. So what decision would you make?
There's other places to kiss.
Don't ask Matt that. I'm ready to hear this answer.
Wow, this one.
Oh boy. Man, I'm gonna get you out of the jam. The Bonnage's numbers are huge in the first 3 years, over 3,000 yards. The touchdowns, the receptions. He's the complete weapon, man. Yeah. What are your thoughts on the Bonnage? Basically, and if this the Bonnage's team.
So I think about that position that he's in, and honestly, when he came to the team and came to the league, I was a little bit like, I don't know that this guy is much more than a scat back or anything like that. And I'm talking about his first couple of games. You only see him touch the ball a few times. Mostert was there, so he was getting the majority of the carries. And I want to go back to the days of when we had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. The great thing about them was the speed and the lightning and the quick scores, and it was exciting, right? The problem with that, and we've talked about this on this show in the past, the problem with that was 3 plays later, the defense was back out on the field, and then 4 plays later, the defense was back out on the field, and that South Florida heat just destroys everybody, ultimately.
Yes.
But this incarnation of the Miami Dolphins is intriguing to me. I'm not saying that Devon Achane is Ricky Williams. I'm not saying that at all. But Ricky Williams is in my top 5 of all-time greatest Dolphins, period. Right. Haters, say whatever you want. Ricky Williams is an all-time Dolphin player. And when he was Marshawn before Marshawn ever thought about playing football. And he would pound and pound and pound and pound. And the next thing you'd know, he'd have 1,800 yards. He'd have 1,700 yards for the season. And I cannot wait to see Achane run behind the left side of this line in September and in October and just watch the defense melt. If Malik Willis if Achane can buy this offense time, and Willis and the receivers, they take that time that he buys them to get on the same page, guys, ladies, I don't believe for a second that this team will be in the running for the number 1 pick in the 27 draft.
That's a good question. Go ahead, Shari. That's a good question. Go ahead.
It's only Ricky Williams has more yards from scrimmage in a single Dolphin season. So you're putting Achane. That's it. Ricky Williams, you're right, Matt, is the only other name in this conversation right now. And I wrote some notes here. Achane has already scored 35 touchdowns. That is more career touchdowns than Mercury Morris, Paul Warfield, O.J. McDuffie, who is definitely a friend of the show, and we love him, and Jim Kick. So he's in very good company, and he's still got some life left. So I'm very excited to see what the next couple of seasons brings with him. I have a lot of hope, and I don't want to lay it all on him. And you're right, Adrian. It's the defense. It's the defense and Achane. So,
of course.
But I'm really looking forward to seeing what he can do. I mean, we brought in Proctor. We brought in people to help. I'm excited, but I'm realistic. I don't expect to have the first pick, but I don't expect to go to the playoffs.
I'm unrealistic. I'll stand on that hill.
I like it.
We're not expect any less than you, man. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Steve, any last thoughts on Devon's Achane's team?
Well, I mean, I find in these conversations, I think they're really good. I appreciate everybody else going before me because then I get a chance to react to these things. Adrian, you actually hit a lot of the points that I was going to say here, It's his offense, but actually, we don't know what we're going to get out of the rest of the team. Right. We don't know what we're getting with Willis. We know whether we're getting somebody who some people saw who he was in Tennessee. They see who he is now, and he's a totally different person. Hell, he admitted that himself. So we don't know. It has to be his team because he signed that contract, just like Shari said. And so, offense, yes. Really, this is Jordan Brooks' team. He is my pace setter. He has been for 2 years. When he came into this team, I remember Eddie Chapman saying, those guys that yell and scream and everything. My guy, he doesn't need to yell. He makes people act based off of his look, based off of the example of how he does things on the field and off the field. Jordan Brooks, really, this is his team. Achane has it on the offensive side of things. And I really think that, we're going to have a lot of more questions this year that, hey, we might get some good answers. Having a lot of unknowns in a team like this isn't bad, yeah, but we know that we're in for a reset. We called it like a surgical, dismantling, surgical rebuild that we have to do here. We've torn down a lot. We've got a lot of youth. We don't know what we're going to have. And I'm just going to leave it at this. Matt, you saying that you really didn't know what you're going to get in Achane is spoken like a true ACC football fan. That you don't know what it looks like when you come to the SEC. So I knew exactly what we were getting. That's why I was streaking up and down my street when we picked him in the third round. Dude, just next.
Oh, he must have run over the Gators every game he played. But then again, that's not anything unusual.
Ask Peyton Manning about facing the Gators. He'll tell you what happens when you face the Gators.
Ask him. Go on. Say something else.
Lose.
Ask who?
Adrian, any last thoughts?
No.
Let's go to the next segment.
Adrian's just sitting back like, what in the world?
No.
He's still...
The Miami Dolphins have turned the page and handed the keys to a new era, Willis emerging as the quarterback entrusted to lead it. Backed by the vision of GM John Eric Sullivan and head coach Jeff Hafley, Willis represents more than just a roster move. He represents the future of the franchise. But is he truly the one? The quarterback this new regime believes can unlock Miami's potential and lead the Dolphins back into contention? Or is this simply the latest gamble in a league where finding a franchise quarterback is the hardest challenge of all? We'll examine Willis's fit in the new offense, what the coaching staff sees in him, and whether this regime is building a genuine upgrade or embarking on another experiment that Dolphins fans have seen before.
Oh my God.
What's up, Mario?
Yeah.
What's up, Mario?
My J-Rod. My J-Rod.
So,
what's up?
So before we went to that little break, I was going to say, please get the glasses with the mustache and we come back and you're on camera with
With the mustache.
Making a pizza tonight?
Hey, it's the best I could do for. It's the best I could do for a J-Rod on very short notice, okay? And hey, we're dealing with it.
Oh man, you got me distracted there.
My gosh.
That's all man right there, Shari.
What do you think, baby? What do you think, hon?
I'm sorry, this is new phone. Who dis?
Should I start with Steve? I'm still gonna start with Steve. Steve, you know, Malik with his quarterback number 1, he was brought here with the contract. Green Arrows, you know, has been pushing him, you know, and it's good news, you know, to have the fact that you had your 7th round draft pick quarterback who only 3 stars, pushing the guy who you paid $20 million plus. Apparently pushing him, that's good news. There's nothing bad can come from that. You know, the fact that, you know, he's playing good in camp, apparently he's better at reading defenses, and of course Malik Willis that's more athletic. But you know, still for now, Malik Willis is just one. What are your thoughts about, you know, the possibility of Malik Willis excelling during this regime with the Dolphins, Steve? Oh man.
All I can say is that Willis, we don't know if he's the one. We just know that he is the one right now for Hafley and for Sullivan to take their first steps in what they have to do right now. You know, we said it before. I mean, frankly, Malik Willis to Miami was one of the biggest no-brainers in the entire offseason, and the only reason I question it is, were we really able to, and were we going to commit that much money when we were in this much of a cap hell already with a team that we just didn't know what we could do? So, the familiarity, it was connecting the dots, it made a lot of sense. Hafley needs some type of foundation when he's on the defensive side. His grounding and his foundation is the fact that he went up against Willis every practice for years up in Green Bay, so he knows what he's getting with them in terms of potential, and he also saw that transformation of seeing somebody come in from Tennessee, beat up a guy who just, you know, kind of got scrapped and discarded from Tennessee, goes up to Green Bay, gets that experience, gets an opportunity for a couple times to come in and show what he's learned and what he's matured into. And I really think that for where we are right now and what the Dolphins organization needs, Willis is the best quarterback for us to be able to do that right now.
Thank you,
I
Dave.
agree. Please go ahead, Shari.
All right, I just want to follow Wonstat with my notes. So, this was a plug-and-play scenario with the Green Bay Packers system coming to Miami. Steve, I think that's Steve, I don't recognize that person, said it was a no-brainer. It is. It's plug-and-play. So, him struggling right now in OTAs doesn't bother me, because you could have the number 1 pick in the draft, they can come into your system, and if it's a new system to them, they aren't going to necessarily, after 2 or 3 weeks, be all aces. I'm not worried about that. He's comfortable with the coaching staff. They're comfortable with him. He's comfortable with the GM. He's comfortable with him. That makes me comfortable with him. Jesus effing Christ. Now I'm in Chicago, and I'm getting a Ditka vibe. So I will say that will be the only Ditka going on around here if that continues. So, Malik, as I said in the Achane segment, he's going to definitely have to make them be watching the edge, because he is a dual threat, is supposed to be a dual threat. We haven't seen him, in my opinion, be given a full chance. This is his full chance. It's his job to lose, for sure. He has it. It's his. I don't think it's an open they can say whatever they want. It's not an open competition. They expect him to be the starter. If he struggles midway, that's going to be where we're going to see where the questions are going to come, because how long do you think they're going to let him get into the season before they panic and pull the plug? That's what I don't know. So that's also going to show me also what this coaching staff is made of. If this is a rebuilding year and you want to see whatever, let them gel together, let them fail together, let them win together, and see what they can do and figure out what we have. I don't want to see the rope come in. I don't want to see the hook, come in and get him and grab him like he's on stage, get him off as fast as we can. This isn't a rodeo. Let him play. And I'm looking I have no expectations. I think I've made this very clear, but I am very much looking forward to seeing what this Green Bay Packers system in Miami. I've seen them try a Dallas system in Miami that didn't work. I've seen a lot of what I really would love is someday another team say, we're bringing the Miami system to here to see if it can work. That's the ultimate goal and dream, right? Is that the league says, we want the Miami system where we are. I'm looking forward to seeing
a half-assed tank by the Miami Dolphins. How Miami does it. Tank half-assed.
I have no idea what you're saying. I can't even look at you.
There you go.
Adrian, what are your thoughts? Adrian, go ahead.
Chosen one. He chosen one for this team because they chose him to be the quarterback of this team. So he definitely is. His mobility is going to change the way defenses play him and play us in general. Achane will help out with that. I think this year, we're not going to be looking at stats. It's going to be more his decision making and how the offense performs as a whole. That's what we're really going to be looking at. They're going to build around his strengths. Hopefully, keep doing that in the future. But yeah, we don't know what we're getting with Malik. We only got little flashes of what he's done. So
we don't know what we're getting in most of this team.
Yeah,
correct.
100%. Yeah. So,
100%.
But I'm just looking forward to see growth and his decision making getting better and better from week 1 all the way to week 17, 18.
So
that's all I'm looking forward to.
I agree. And Adrian,
that's the question.
I agree. And Adrian, with what you're saying, I'll kind of segue this into a prompt for Matt. Is there's so much youth and there are some unknowns when it comes to Willis. There's also unknowns with the rest of the coaching staff with Slowick as our offensive coordinator. Matt, do you think that there's any chance that we are going to handicap and not actually see the potential of what Willis could be because of coaching, because of the makeup of the rest of the positions players on offense?
Yeah, I think that's what minicamp, rookie minicamp, training camp, all of those things are critical. And one of the best parts about this is Hafley is a new head coach in the pros, but he's not a new head coach. And these guys have a proven blueprint, right? And listen, we joke or we have fun with telling me or saying that I'm always so optimistic, and I am. I genuinely am. But the reality is these guys have a known system. What they don't have is a known quantity of players. Malik Willis performed when he was in a mop-up role, as well as when he went in for Jordan Love when he got hurt, and he performed exactly how the Miami Dolphins fan base should want to see their future quarterback. That's the thing that gets me, and I'm not going to go off on this tangent. I swear to God I'm not. But these fans love to say that guy sucks, and we gave $67 million to that guy. And I promise you, none of them saw anything more of Malik Willis than a snippet here and there on SportsCenter.
That's a fact.
Don't even go down the path of, I've got NFL Sunday ticket. I watch every game. No, you don't. You're drunk on your couch by the time the Dolphins are done in the third quarter. So don't even say that. But to go back to what I was saying is we have a known entity in the Green Bay, whatever you want to call it. You want to call it the Green Bay system? Great. And they have seen success with that. Are the players in position now? Well, there's players there. Are they the players? Maybe. I didn't know Achane was good because apparently I only watch one college football team.
Wah, wah.
Which is fine because I'm not some sort of channel flipper that watches everything. I get my beating over with Carolina and I move on with the rest of my life. Having said that, By the way, if there's any Hurricanes fans on this show or listening or watching, feel free to go look up the University of North Carolina's football record against the University of Miami. I'll wait. Having said that, Steve,
and Adrian taking a beating tonight.
Having said that, Steve, my answer to your question is, I'd like to believe that some of those dogs are already on the roster. Some of them may come out. Yep. Some of them, maybe the previous, I'm talking about players that are left over. Maybe the previous regime wasn't able to do that. And I know I've been going all over the place, but McDaniel, big fan of McDaniel, but was he in over his head? Probably. I don't even remember who was ahead of McDaniel, who was before McDaniel. Was it Gase?
Flores.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason I forgot that knucklehead.
Yes. We've all tried to put that out of our minds.
Flores, who I was actually a fan of because I'm a defensive-minded guy. I love the fact that the defense was supposed to be so good. But now we've got a guy who's been a head coach. He's not coming in because he's got a reputation as a passing game coordinator or with Flores that he's all.
It's Adam Gase. He's a quarterback guru. Come on, man.
And then Adam Gase, whatever he was. So this guy has been a head coach before. He's got a proven system that he's going to be working with. Really excited to see which dogs will bite. And then, you know what? There's a draft next year. There's free agency next year. We can continue this build. That's where I stand on that.
I definitely go, Shari.
No, sorry, this is quick. With Malik, that's exactly the thing is we don't know because they're not going to tell us if they brought him in as a bridge quarterback to get us to the next draft, to get us to the next big quarterback, if they brought him in as a franchise quarterback, or if he is just, he fit their system, he's a known variable, they brought him in because they know him. And none of that's going to matter when the games start. All that matters is that he produces on the field, and it isn't about stats because I've seen Dilfer-led teams win a Super Bowl. So
exactly.
As long as he carries his weight, the rest of the team does their job. Hopefully we're not sitting at the first pick next year.
Make good decisions. Don't turn the ball over.
No, I mean, okay, so here's the thing. I think this is like the season of unknowns that we don't know what we're going to get because we've never seen this team on the field, basically any of them. And I think that that's a positive for especially those of us who have zero expectations then in this. But we do know this. How many times in the past 4 or 5 years did we see our team, our beloved Miami Dolphins, go out there with a game on the line, with a season on the line, with playoffs on the line, and absolutely shit the bed? That last drive in Frankfurt, Germany will haunt me until I die of how poor that was and what we did. And it's crumbling under pressure. It's folding when we need people to step up. And I really, truly hope that when it's down there, the game is on the line and things fall apart for the quarterback and that first read isn't there, he's not just going to fall down. He's not going to throw an errant pass, and he's going to make plays with his legs. And anytime, Matt, you said it. When Achane's on the field, you've got to look out for him. He is a weapon. So Achane is on the field. Willis has that freedom to do other stuff. We just don't know. There's so much other stuff out here. But also, next, I'm gonna have to find like a really curly wig because I'm gonna put away the J-Rod and I'm gonna go out here as my Greg Dulcich because my man actually went out there and he earned himself a spot on this roster with how he played last year. I don't think he gets enough love for what he's gonna be able to do for this offense.
I agree with Groucho. I think Dulcich is gonna be the go-to
it's
for
Rodriguez.
I think this. No, Rodriguez has Riz, honey. I think that.
Wow.
Savage.
Yeah, I'm sorry, but you opened this up. This opened this whole can of worms, Adrian. Just so we're clear.
I'm sorry.
I agree with Groucho, and that's all I wanted to say. Yes.
Oh, man. Okay, guys, I want to go to this premise. Malik Willis, of course, is a quarterback. You know that he was highly touted, slipped in the draft, was supposed to be probably the first round pick. Came from Liberty, that's a small school, not a lot of high talent level there or competition. So he slipped down to the third round, went to the Titans, played for Mike Vrabel, who's a nonsense coach that doesn't have a lot of patience. Get traded to the Packers, where has the coaching, the talent, the wide receivers, the structure to exceed. Goes in for Jordan Love. Last couple of games of the season has an awesome performance. One of the best performances. I saw that game. I was seeing that game live. He impressed me a lot. That was great what he did. But the jury's out. There's no way for knowing who's the whatever he is. But here's my premise. If Tua Tagovailoa wasn't good enough, because the standard was that Tua was not good enough to help a team go over the deficiencies of the team. So he was not a franchise quarterback in the fact that he was not good enough to excel, to take this team, any team, to the next level. This time now, Malik Willis comes to a team depleted at wide receiver with new coaching staff. So my premise is I want him to be judged by the same scale we evaluated Tua. He needs to perform. He has to lift this team over adversity. If he doesn't, he has no excuse, because Tua had no excuse during the first couple of years.
100%.
With Flores, with that first year, that team sucked. That was horrible. And it took a while for the Dolphins to have, even the coaches, that when you had two offensive coordinators, you have no offensive coordinators. Tua, the first couple of years, had nobody to work with on the coaching staff and on the players. So if Tua wasn't good enough to lift the team over adversity, I want the same for Malik. He has to perform even with adversity. I don't want to hear that he doesn't have the offensive line or the wide receivers or the coaching staff is deficient. He has to excel. If he doesn't find a way, if we don't find glitches of him taking the game over at least one or two games and putting the team in the back and winning those games, he's not the answer. And I like Malik Willis. I'm enamored with the things he does great. The speed, the way he plays, I think is awesome. I would love him for to see, because he brings his time into the game. But if he doesn't find a way to take this team over and be the reason why they won a couple of games, he's not the answer. What are your thoughts? I want to start with Shari. Shari, please.
Oh, absolutely. Your quarterback doesn't have to carry the team every week, but should when the chips are down, when you still have to be able to rely on this person to be a leader. And if that person cannot lead, and that is proven, because you still have to give him a chance. This doesn't have to be first game, first up, one swing, sorry, too bad, bye-bye, next. No. But I need to see that leadership. You can grow into leadership. 100% you can grow into leadership. This is a team for that, because this isn't a team that's expecting to start a Super Bowl team the first week of the season. This is a team that is expecting to build growth and that is going to gel together. But ultimately, that is the goal. If once your team is gelled, your quarterback hasn't gelled with them, they are not your quarterback. They are not your leader.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts, Adrian? The fact that, if he doesn't carry the team on his back and wins a couple of games by himself, he's not the answer. What are your thoughts?
I absolutely agree. I think, they chose him for a reason. And you could have got a cheaper backup. You could have went with Quinn Ewers. You wouldn't have had as many expectations, but you went and got your guy. So I absolutely agree, man. He has to win at least a few games. And it's the reason why they game-winning drives are a stat, like for the quarterback. So
yes,
he has to. He got to have a couple of those, in my opinion, or just like you said, take over some games and to be the guy, for us to be like, yeah, he's the guy. All right. So I agree.
Yeah, man. The premise is Tua wasn't the reason the Dolphins won games. He was just a game manager who wasn't good enough to carry the team on his back. So the same premise should go through Malik. That's the way what I'm trying to say, Matt. That if he doesn't find a way to be the reason why the team wins games, he's not the answer. Because I want the same premise they use for Tua to be used for Malik. What are your thoughts, Matt?
Yeah, I think honestly the worst thing for me for Tua, and I've said on the show that I was firmly in the Tua fan club. I think back to the.
I'm guilty too.
The Ravens game, 6 touchdown game, and just the oh my God, what did I just watch? Like, we had not seen I believe I said it back then, we had not seen a quarterback performance like that since number 13. And it gave so many of us this unreal feeling of, oh my God, did that just happen? And I still, right now, I'm like, I still don't believe it happened, because it was out of it was out of this world. And then the
Once in a
Denver game.
lifetime.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, yes.
And so it gave an entire fan base hope, right? It gave us hope. And now here we are back at square one. And I got to be honest.
Minus one. Minus one.
Yeah. Honestly, I remember thinking and I'm not at all trying to start the debate, but I remember thinking, oh my God, we're going to get Justin Herbert. This is falling right in our hands. And Steve and I had this conversation years ago about how in the world could you buy a car that has a shattered chassis? Why would you buy a car whose frame is jacked? Its axles are damaged. Why would you buy that car? Anyways, now we're back at square one. And in many ways, this is similar to when we drafted Tua. We've got a kid who he did some performance in Green Bay. There is some hope around him, and I'm not talking about the haters out there who think that he's the second coming of John Beck, but there are some real opportunities to look at this kid and go, yeah, this guy might be the guy. I know what that is. I know that that's hope. I know that that's faith. And I know that that is just me being eternally optimistic. Let's get to the first quarter of the first preseason game before we anoint him in any way or crucify him in any way, shape, or form. Dave Hyde of the Sun Sentinel got fired today. I put that up there because what we're hearing out of training camp or out of mini camp or whatever, guys that have never played. And I'm talking to you, Omar Kelly. I hope you're watching this show.
I want to leave the Dave Hyde subject for the end because I'm tempted to talk about it right now, but I wanted to talk about the big finish because I think it's worth we talk about. So we're going to talk about Dave Hyde, the big finish. So, Steve, that's my premise. If Tua was blamed for the failures because he wasn't the quarterback that could take this team on his back and win, I don't want to know. I don't care about the lack of wide receivers or the rookie head coaching staff or the bad defense or defensive line or the running game. I want Malik Willis to succeed. I'm not going to be pooping on him every single week he will lose. But he has to win a couple of games by himself. He has to find a way to take this team over and to carry him on his back because that schedule is brutal. It's brutal. So what are your thoughts?
It doesn't matter what team you're on. The quarterback is always going to be the most scrutinized player on the field. It doesn't matter if it's a rookie, if it's a franchise, $300 million contract quarterback. They are going to get the most scrutiny because they're just expected to be in that position of leadership and being able to perform and do it on a consistent basis. A franchise quarterback, and frankly, I don't remember the last time we really truly had this consistently. My Fiedler, I wasn't even a big Fiedler fan. You have to probably go back to Marino to the time when we had a quarterback who could consistently elevate players around him. When the shit was hitting the fan, did not crumble and was able to go out there with that field marshal mentality of we are going to lead. When other pieces are falling apart, being that one that steps in and says, hey, I'm going to stop everything from falling apart, I'm going to lead the team. It's really been a long time since we've consistently seen it. We've seen a couple flashes from a couple quarterbacks here and there. We just haven't. But 100%, it's the NFL. This is the big leagues, and we are in this rebuild mode. Whether it's a full rebuild or the surgical, strategic rebuild, we are rebuilding nonetheless, and we are getting the pieces together to try and compete as a franchise going forward. And if Malik Willis can't do it, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, man, he didn't have the players around him. You're going to see intangibles. You're going to see if he has it or if he doesn't. And frankly, if he has it with this type of supporting cast around him, I think that's going to say a lot more than if he did it with a bunch of Tyreek Hills and Jalen Waddles and other pieces.
Absolutely, 100%. So let's go to our next segment.
Fan TV, Sammy and Steve, the crew's alive. No matter what, we have each other. This is the place, forget the bother. Fins up, hearts beat true.
Welcome to Fins TV, it's all for you. Trumpets blaze, the beat goes on. Fins forever, strong and strong. Miami lights, the waves are free. Welcome home, this is Fins TV.
Miami Dolphins have embraced a new direction under general manager John Eric Sullivan and head coach Jeff Hafley, ushering in sweeping changes to the roster, coaching philosophy, and long-term vision of the franchise. But while optimism is running high, the biggest question remains unanswered. Is this regime truly an upgrade over what came before? Or are Dolphins fans falling in love with potential before the wins arrive? Tonight, we'll examine the moves that have reshaped Miami, compare the new approach to the previous era, and separate excitement from evidence. Has this organization finally found the leadership to build a sustained contender? Or is hope once again outpacing reality?
Steve, it's easy to get drunk on the hopium, but the one thing is for sure, Jeff Hafley has impressed a lot of people. Jimmy Johnson, one of them, he was very impressed with Sullivan, very impressed with Hafley. And, you know, the guy, when he takes the podium, when he talks to the players, you know, there's something there. There's something that I never saw with Mike McDaniel because, of course, I'm on the record saying I was not a Mike McDaniel believer from day one. So for me, it's easy to see someone like Jeff Hafley with the command of the team, the way he talks to the players. You know, there's a spot when you see Jeff Hafley interacting with Chop Robinson. You know, Chop Robinson took a regress last season, and he's basically talking to Chop Robinson saying like, you know, you did a great job on the S there. He knows the camera is there. He's teasing him in front of the fans. He knows that the fans know that he regressed and that he has to develop. So, you know, he's teasing Chop, and you see Chop is kind of uncomfortable, but, you know, he's put him on the spot. I kind of like that because a lot of people were way too comfortable last season. And you remember so many times when talking about here in Late Fins TV about the team being soft because basically they were caught up every single time. So what are your thoughts right now with Jeff Hafley and Sullivan's approach as of right now?
Well, Sammy, first of all, the opening, the intro to this section talks about it is like the epitome of Dolphins fandom of falling in love with potential before wins actually arrive. That could be like the banner over Hard Rock Stadium. That's exactly who we are.
Yes, sir.
But I've said this many times in the past, and I will stand on it, that the majority of NFL players, especially those that get drafted very high in the NFL draft, have benefited greatly. They work their asses off. I see what some of these high school kids do nowadays, and it is just insane what they do. But they are the beneficiaries of fantastic genes and just natural talent. We've seen players that they are the biggest and baddest and strongest in high school, and they truck people. They go to the biggest Division I schools, and they are still trucking people. And they get to that point of being picked in the first round, picked in the second round, without ever really truly being pushed up here. Seeing this stuff of what's coming out of like the OTAs and the minicamp of like Chop Robinson saying, "Hey, I go out there and I screw up, and that defensive line coach is up my ass." Good. And you know what? I don't want to see him being demoralized. I want him to go up in his face and say, "You've got this. You are here for a reason. This is your moment. You've got to step up. Hey, Chop, dude, it's a young team. It's year 3. You've got to be a leader now. What are you going to do to get a captainship on your chest here?" So yes. I just, you know what? Accountability and ownership. You can do anything you want to be a head coach in this league. If you can't take that accountability, which Adam Gase never had, and frankly, the NFL head coaches, they've got egos. A lot of them are narcissistic. They're not going to stand up there and say, "Hey, I really screwed up and it's my fault." But, you know, the looks on the Adam Gase is the Mike McDaniels of like, "Hey, you know, man, it sucks. We got to get better." You know, but really, are they truly looking themselves in the mirror? I get the feeling from Hafley that he is introspective like that, and I feel like his relationship with John Eric Sullivan is that he is going to be held accountable by his GM because they've been here together.
Absolutely. Shari, there's a saying, of course, I'm sure you know very well, that there's not a second chance to make a first impression. And, you know, Jeff Hafley is one of those guys because, you know, what we have to compare with Adam Gase, you know, Mike McDaniel, Brian Flores, who basically was, you know, an ass, Jeff Hafley is tough, but he's engaging. So what are your thoughts right now on Jeff Hafley so far? And he looks very much like an upgrade, if you ask me.
Okay. This segment is upgrade, and we're going to focus on Hafley. We're going to focus on everything. First of all, I'm fairly certain that with each of those coaches you mentioned, there was a time where we were like, thank God the last guy's gone. This guy's an upgrade, because that's what you're hoping for in the beginning of a new era.
Yeah.
So the question is, okay, is Malik Willis an upgrade, a downgrade, or a lateral move from Tua? We don't know. We won't know until they play the season. Bringing in Proctor, is that going to make the line an upgrade enough to unlock Achane? We don't know. We won't know until they play the season. We drafted 13 picks, wide receivers, tight ends, offensive linemen. Is this going to make us a better team with this future investment? We don't know. We don't know until they play. We can be hopeful. We want there to be an upgrade at every position and every coaching office. My God, I'd love an upgrade at owner, but I guess you can't do that. But we won't know. I can sit here and say that it's got to be an upgrade with Proctor over what we had. And Tua, every time he touched the ball, I held my breath and hoped that he didn't die on the field. That I know that's going to be an upgrade, right? I mean, watching Malik, at least that's an upgrade for me that I know. Oh, hopefully. But to sit here and opine over whether anything we have right now is an upgrade over before, we feel in our hearts that it is, but is it going to translate on the field? We don't know yet.
Absolutely. Adrian, Shari is 100% right, but there's some things that, if you ask me, are easy to tell. Because for me, since I was never a Miami believer, it was easy for me, the leader man, the discipline, the guy that, the goofiness, the way, if you cannot basically speak well in a press conference, it's hard for me to believe they're going to find a way to be well spoken to the team. So, I agree 100% with Shari. Every time we go into a new circle, we expect an update. But on the other hand, I do believe this fan base is just tired. They're just tired. I think the Hopium is done. I don't think that I see some glimpses.
Don't tell Matt Armstrong that.
I see some glimpses. But even Matt, I think Matt's realistic. If you ask
Steve, we were just at Costco talking to Robbie, and what did we say? We talked to him for 3 minutes. We got ourselves all worked up. And we're like, "There's the Hopium." We can't help it. We just can't.
It's a mob mentality.
That happens too. Sure. That happens too. But it's one thing to one thing is the love we have for this team and the hope that someday we can get where we are. But when push comes to shove, Adrian, we see this team and we know those things are happening. If you ask me, things are going right now better than I expected them to go. Because after last season, the way things ended abruptly, Steven Ross turned down the door and basically fired by McDaniel, get the hell out of here. Every single time they do things wrong. But I don't know. This time I think, at least I think they got probably the people right. They scratched everything. They almost reset everything. So that's a good start. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, they gave us what we wanted.
Yeah.
We tear down. But I think it's definitely a change philosophically. I think definite change in that. You can just see the way he speaks, what he demands. It doesn't. He seems like a stand-up guy. Doesn't seem like he's lying about anything. Seems very truthful. So, from that part, yeah, and it's fresh. It's fresh. It's new. It's the honeymoon phase. We're still all, they're saying all the right things. What we're seeing on the field, but it definitely feels different. But like you said, I'm with Shari, man. I gotta see when them pads come on, man. What type of team we're gonna have? Like that's gonna be the true tell for me. Is once those pads come on and we see what they're really trying to do, how physical they're gonna be, and I will set my expectations from there. But still keep them very low. I'm like right in the middle of being an optimist and a pessimist. So.
That means you're a realist.
You're just an ist, yeah.
Exactly.
That means you're a realist, basically.
Fair enough.
So, but yeah, I mean, it definitely feels different, though, Sammy, for sure.
But the one thing is, wins and losses, I don't think that they're going to be the standard to measure this team this year. If you see the rookies playing better by the end of the year, young players playing better, even if they don't win. But you can see this and this and this. We got a starter in this player.
Yeah.
We drafted well, and this guy is on pace to be a good start next year. Then we're on the right track, because we can be, I don't know, 2-14, but you see the young players playing, with potential, doing good things, and not be the stupid penalties and those kind of things, and the team playing hard. That's kind of a win. But this team doesn't have the talent. You have to remember, Matt. You have to remember this team basically has a half of the budget. We almost half of the budget compromised with with the cap debt. So this team is basically cap strapped for this year and part of next year. So what are your thoughts, Matt?
Matt, we're the replacements. We're the replacements.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. Absolutely. Yes. Without the dancing, because that would be fun if they had the dancing, but they don't have dancing. Matt.
My favorite movie of all time, The Replacement.
Yeah.
All time?
All time, man.
I think you said it before, and Shari too, I think.
It's one of those movies that, I'm not doing anything for the next hour. I'm watching this. So I'm going to throw this out there. $100 to the charity of your choice if you could tell me who the number one recruit in the United States in football was. No cheating. Hands on screen.
Queen Ewers.
Who said it?
Johnny said it.
Sammy.
Yeah, Queen Ewers, number one recruit, and he reclassified from 22 to 21 so he could enroll early.
Yeah.
Queen Ewers.
Yes, sir.
And I bring that up because the skill level of these guys. My son and I were talking the other day about, he thinks that hockey is his new favorite sport because it's a combination of soccer and it's so exciting. And so we were talking about, all right, let's talk about what goes into being a hockey player. Probably the most demanding sport of all.
Incredible.
Like, we can't even imagine. And then because of his soccer career, the constant running.
I was going to say soccer's up there.
Yeah. And then football because of the sheer violence. And so we were talking about what it takes to be a freaking pro football player, man. And right now the Miami Dolphins have what was considered to be the number one recruit on the roster. And 99% of the fan base wanted him to go away. Just go away. You suck. I say all of this. I say all of this because it shows how dumb we all really are. If we get to a point where our young players are performing and they are almost there, they're close but no cigar, I'm all for that. That's called a moral victory. I get it, but they're not getting blown out 70-21, right? They're not getting blown out like the Patriots did to the Dolphins numerous times, hanging 40 and 50 on them because they friggin' quit. I challenge anybody that can hear my voice to look at Jeff Hafley and think that any one of those players is going to quit and be able to keep their roster spot.
Sure.
I am beyond excited, Adrian. I love what you said about being kind of in the middle there, optimist, realist. I feel that. I'm just so excited because it's June 9th, and in about 6 weeks, we'll be able to talk about pads. We'll be able to talk about the real stuff. And then about 2 weeks after that, we could talk about a preseason game. Yeah, just strapping them on and just going at it. My son reminded me just the other day, I guess we're at 97 or 96, but it was Jason Taylor Day. We were 99 days away from the beginning of the season. And if that doesn't get you pumped up.
That was Saturday.
If that doesn't get you pumped up, not to mention the fact that the University of North Carolina is in Omaha this week for the College World Series. That's got me pumped up as well.
Congrats.
I fly home tomorrow. That's got me pumped up. I'm sorry, Sammy. I am on a tangent right now.
Matt is here to pump you up.
Pump you up.
Now, Matt, piggybacking on that very, very quickly is we don't know if we have a team of underperformers just because they don't get paid the high salaries. They could be overperformers, and all of a sudden now we're hoping we can hold on to them next year because they've shown the whole league what they can do for pennies on the dollar. We don't know.
Yeah, so many people take whatever they read or hear or see in the media as fact, and it's annoying. We've talked about this for years. It's so annoying, but y'all don't know if Malik Washington is it. There's so many people who were excited when we drafted Malik Washington that he was going to be he was the next Tyreek. Tyreek can go because Malik Washington. So what happened to that energy?
That always happens, yes.
It always happens, right? There's this quick flame out of excitement about a player, and then you don't see him, and he sucked because he didn't play. Yes. Well, guess what? I don't know if he sucks or not because he didn't play. He wasn't on the field.
World, man.
You're not on the field.
Results.
Yeah, exactly. It's Steve and I have talked about this a billion times. It's a microwave mentality, and it's incredibly infuriating. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The hope is always going to be there. The way too much hope, or doomsday. If the Dolphins have a bad practice and the past time on, this team is going to suck. It's going to go 0-16. So this fan base always is ready for some overreaction.
So here.
One turn field. Practice. One dropped pass. And Dolphins Twitter lost its mind.
Steve is Dolphins fans' favorite telenovela is Dolphins TV overreaction. This fan base always go to the streams. That Billy Joe's, Darren, you maybe go to the streams. Remember that Billy Joe song? Always on the stream. So this week, when you got the compendium of the, all the power rankings so far, the Dolphins are the worst. The worst, Steve. The worst team. The worst team in the NFL. 32nd, 30th, 31st, 32nd. Basically, you go every single time, they are the worst. So the question for the Fins TV overreaction, Steve, is very simple. The Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. Overreaction? Steve.
Premature overreaction because nobody knows anything right now. I mean, seriously, we've been the worst team in the NFL before. We've been, hey, we got a lot of hope this season and had the worst offensive line and so almost the worst offense as a whole in the NFL, legitimately in the middle of a season. Look, where we are right now, what do we have? 25 rookies, 49 people with less than 3 years of experience on this team right now. I expect us to be on paper to people to be the worst, but I don't care. I'm not going to judge the season off of wins and losses solely. So overreaction, but it's legit right now. It's June 9th.
Absolutely. Shari, same question for you.
Okay,
on the other hand, I see some fans that believe the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs. I'm not talking about Matt. I had a conversation with TD Finstock the other day. We have our differences. I met the guy, and so far he's a great guy. The way I had the conversation, and he thinks this team might make the playoffs. I think that's another way to react. For the question, the premise is the Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. Shari, overreaction?
Overreaction, but I'm happy about it because I would love for the rest of the league to think we suck so bad that they don't prepare when they play us or that they don't have to worry about us. I want to be the look past us game every week. You just worry about who you're going to play next weekend and forget that we have guys out there who want to win. So overreaction, yes, but good, awesome, great.
Yeah.
Under prepare, I'm for it. I'm here for it.
Absolutely. Well, Adrian, we know some people basically overreact. I'm being able to be one of them. I react to it too. I'm gonna be forever guilty of that. But the fact that they're right now, I can understand this this team is not great. This roster is not great. But basically, it's a consensus. The Dolphins are the worst team in the NFL. Overreaction on your mind? What are your thoughts?
Big overreaction, because we all know the Jets are the worst team in the NFL.
You stole that from Matt.
As long as we're counting them as a team, you are correct.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Matt, what are your thoughts? I know you don't follow that a lot. I know you don't follow out of the media every single week, but that's what they're saying. Every single power poll right now had the Dolphins last, second to last, or maybe even 30. The best I've seen so far is 30th. What are your thoughts? Overreaction about the Dolphins being the worst team in the NFL?
Well, I'm excited for the 27 draft. We're already there. It's almost here. Already building my mock draft, and look, all of that stuff is for content. It's for interaction. It's for doing exactly what we're all doing right here, right now. And that's in part reason why I try not to put too much stock in what the press says. I stopped watching ESPN probably 20 years ago, honestly. And I do like Barry with the Herald. There are times when he's obviously pandering to the base of the fan base that'll go for the bait, and I get it. He does that because newspapers are a dying institution. But I digress. If it's somebody like Daniel Jeremiah, whose opinion I enjoy listening to, because he's been there in the trenches and he does the work, he does the studying of the players and everything. And there's a couple other that I, they might say something and I'm like, oh, he actually said something positive. But it's rare. It's rare and few and far between. The one that I pay attention to the most, and this is God's honest truth, is immediately after the first game that I watch. That's really the feedback that I get. The eye test, right? Holy crap! That guy sucks. That guy had an awful game. And if he strings a few of those together, logic tells me that maybe that guy ain't that good. Maybe he's playing injured. Maybe he's out of position. Whatever. Are they the worst team in the NFL? Nope. There's 31 teams in the NFL, and they're right there. They're right there at 15 or 16. You could pick whichever one you want, but they're right there tied with everyone else.
Correct.
But let's see what happens. Maybe we'll have a decent idea at the end of August as to whether or not they're really going to be bad, or hey, these guys might actually be decent.
I can handle this year being a very, very down year for us.
Me too.
Where on paper, we might be one of the worst teams in the league when it comes to record. But I tell you right now, there's some intangible but very clear steps that this organization can take in the middle.
Yeah.
Right now, leading up to it, in training camp, throughout the NFL season. If come December, this team has not given up and they're not already cashing it in and saying, hey, I can't wait to get to Cabo or Baja or wherever. If they've bought into it, if we see actual development, if we see Jordan Phillips continue this climb and we see the different pieces on this offense and defense come together and make tangible improvement on the field, we are not the worst team because we are already making strides for what we're going to be in the future. And we've got a lot of draft picks and a shitload of cap space to start spending next year. So
it is no different than what
over wins.
Yep, it's no different than what we tell our children. A's aren't the goal. Effort is the goal. Put in 100% effort, and the rest will follow. Yes, we want wins, but we want 100% effort. You put in that effort, and you give a crap, the rest will follow.
Yeah, absolutely right.
Sammy, hey, you're pulling
Sammy,
a
you're on
Steve, man.
mute.
You're on
Pulling
mute.
a Steve.
Oh, perfect. Pull a Steve. They said so many times, draft and develop, draft and develop, draft and develop. They have to do that. They have to develop the players. They already drafted him. At first, a lot of criticism of the draft picks. Then, the nose came in, and the Dolphins had a pretty good draft compared to so many others. But, you had to see the glimpses of hope from the young players that they're going to develop to be starters for the Dolphins. So, let's over 523 watching on the very slow June off-season week. So,
it's June, slow time. It is Tuesday nights are absolutely action-packed, but there is one place that you need to be watching on Tuesday night on the podcast streets. That's Fins TV.
All right, here, baby. Let's go to the big finish.
Hey.
Here we are. Again, over 500 watching on all platforms. We really, really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Is the off season one of the slowest week of the off season to reach 500? 539 on all platforms right now. I think it's awesome. If you're watching, most of you are watching on X. Please go to YouTube. There's a link on the X feed. Go to YouTube. We need the subscribers. We want to reach. At least we want to reach 1,500. We can do that before the season starts. So I'm asking everybody to jump out of X and go to the YouTube feed and go subscribe. Before we go, I want to, there's a couple of things I want to talk about before I go to what Adrian has on his show. They've hired, an institution in Miami for this Armando Sargaro and Greg Cody and so many others at 65 years old, over 30 years in the Sun Sentinel, if I'm not mistaken, was fired today. And me, I've been very critical of the Dolphins local media so many times, more some of others, but they've had. He has a history. He's done books. He has worked with Jimmy Johnson doing books. Sometimes I don't agree with his takes, but I would respect the way he has the ability to write better than each other. Anyone other than Armando, who is a friend. They've had a big institution in Miami. I know the print media everywhere is under harassment. Right now. I'm not gonna go into the politics side of things, which is worst. But the print media, the reporters are basically are a dying breed. Because of so many, the fact that it's easy to get information. Shows like ours, take some time from people who are looking for instant information. But Day High was one of the best. It's a really sad day because he's one of the more responsible ones out there covering the Dolphins. So as far as from Fins TV, I want to know your thoughts, but my respect to Dave Hyde. I'm sure he's gonna, if he wants to retire, going right into the sunset. He's had an awesome career.
Yeah,
and he doesn't nothing to look back. But if hopefully he finds a way to continue his God-given ability to write, to give us the best information. So my best thoughts were with Dave Hyde. Any thoughts, Steve?
He had a fantastic run. He did it with the best of them. He went out with class.
Yes.
And he's not taking shots at people. He actually went out with his social media post and said, he was fortunate enough to have a very long run, and it wasn't it's not as tough for him as it is for the youth that are getting the same exact treatment across the entire industry. And I totally agree that AI can do a lot of things, but it cannot take away that human touch of what people are actually seeing on the grounds and in the front lines. And David Hyde, again, did it right by a lot of the people like us, the content creators, in helping support us in the ways that he did. So 100%.
I don't know if you have any thoughts, but I'm pretty sure Matt has some thoughts. Matt, what are your thoughts?
I used to read Dave Hyde's work religiously. For those in the audience, we used to get these things called newspapers on Sunday.
Yes. The Sunday Express.
Yeah, thank you. I would pump 4 quarters into a newspaper machine and pull out a thick Sunday newspaper and sit there and read it and look for his columns. And then when the internet really started to take on, I would seek out his columns and seek out his articles. in the later years, I felt like he fell into that same bowl, if you will, that I mentioned earlier with the clickbait kind of stuff, pandering to the part of the base that would rise up and go for the bait. I get it. I understand that was part of, or is part of the deal. If you're asking me my honest opinion, I was 100% a fan of his work. I know he's written some books. Some of those books are still on my list of things to
I have some, yes,
to purchase, so that one day when I do retire and I have nothing to do, I can kick back and read about the good old days. And I sit here and it's easy for me to criticize and
yes,
nobody's criticizing me for what I do for a living, and would I like it if they did? Maybe not. But the point is that was his job, right? We all have. Let's just say this: I was a huge Ryan Tannehill fan, and there were guys that just would not give him a break for anything, and that evoked an emotion. And you could take Tannehill out of it and put, like, they used to just crucify Ricky when all of that went down in the summer of 2004. So that was his job. And if I'm going to sit here and make a final comment, opinion, or whatever like that, Dave Hyde, you did your job, man. You did your job, and I wish you the best with whatever the future holds for you.
Adrian, any thoughts?
Yeah, man. Never want to see anybody lose their job. Dave Hyde was a professional, and he was always good to us. So, yeah, man. Best of luck to him in his future endeavors, man. And I mean, he almost 65. So Dave, he can do whatever he want. He can do whatever he want. But yeah, I love his post. I agree 100% with his post. You know, it sucks that, you know, the newspaper and the writers, the real journalists, are kind of going away, but it is what it is, man. It's the future, right? That's what it is. Out with the old and in with the new. So, but yeah, man, respect to Dave, and good luck, brother.
Shari, any thoughts?
No, reading his final post to see that he said this is the first time since he was 17 years old and worked as an ice rink guard that he has been laid off. So yeah, that's a pretty good run. Nobody ever wants to get laid off, but if you're going to look back and say that many decades have passed, at least you can look back on a very respectful, long career, and I'm sure he'll be missed, as will the entire profession at some point, but I'm sure he will be missed. And Matt, I want to add a book to your list of books to read, Behind the Lines by Don Strock. If you haven't already read it, it is a phenomenal book and a very easy read.
I will.
Shades of gray.
I will find that. Thank you.
Yep.
Like I said before, Dave Hyde says he's 65. He looks great for 65. That's the first thing. And, you know, he had an awesome career. If he wants to retire today, he's already accomplished. I want to read a quote that I thought from Maya Angelou that basically said, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that's Dave Hyde. You know, either was angry or did agree or not agree. You know, the guy made a mark for his work, for what he did for his career. So best of luck in future endeavors. He's been on Fizz TV, so for the show we had conversation about him joining Fizz today and Fizz TV later. He wasn't going to say we're going to do it. Hopefully he's going to still feel like he can join us someday and have a chat, because, you know, I appreciate you, Dave. Best of luck to you, to your family, and you keep rocking it, baby. Adrian, you know, what you have cooking this week? You know, you had like 5 shows now. What are you cooking, Adrian? What you have this week on, you know?
5 shows. Never do 5 shows. That's crazy. That is crazy.
Okay, 3.
Yeah. So, South Florida Sports Unfiltered, I think we're going on a little break for the summer, because all the South Florida teams are pretty much done.
Yeah, this is brutal, just brutal.
So we're gonna go on a little break, but 2 Raw for SmackDown is every Saturday or Sunday, 1 p.m. We just talk about the week in wrestling, man. Show's doing really well, man. Like and subscribe at Rainy Day Pie, at Tony Talking Game. And then 588 people watching on Twitter, man. Y'all need to come over here to Fins TV at Fins TV _ on YouTube.
Please
like, subscribe. Man, there's no way you should not be subscribed to this channel right now.
Okay.
588 people.
What?
We should have 500 likes on YouTube right now. Let's go.
Right now.
This is the part of the year that basically, it's hard to get traction. We're reaching almost 600. If we talk to 10 more minutes, we will do it, but we won't. Oh, Jason Sarney is here. I want to add Jason because, since he's here, I want to know his thoughts on Dave Hyde. Before we go, Jason, I have to move this here. I don't want to rub it on your face that we have almost 589. So
Jason,
I moved it. Sorry, Jason. Before we go, thank you for joining us. I want to know your thoughts. Dave Hyde, an institution in South Florida sports media, was fired today. Was let go by the Sun Sentinel. We gave him his best wishes because we think he's an institution. Before we go, we were basically saying goodbye. I want to know your thoughts on Dave Hyde, Jason.
No, he's such a great writer, such a great guy. It was a shame. Obviously, that the way things are going in journalism, sports media, print, especially, this has kind of been a theme in common. But very, very disappointed that there wasn't a chance, after 36 years of loyalty, that they didn't just let him ride it out. Maybe give him one more year and have him retire or leave on his own volition. That would have been really nice. But unfortunately, business is business. But Dave is a pillar. I'm not a South Florida born and bred, but I did see David Hyde's work. I'm calling him David Hyde like I'm trying to do proper, but Dave Hyde was always someone that I was able to read, whether ESPN Insider, an aggregator, getting picked up on different websites. He was one of the 2 or 3 people that even in the late 90s or early 2000s, before this internet was really just booming, that I was able to get Miami Dolphin information from. Great author, just a terrific human being, and he will be around. I'm sure he will be around.
Hopefully, yes.
And wherever it is, I will read him, I will listen to him, I will watch him, and I will wish him the very best. Dave, love you. Thank you for everything you've done for South Florida sports and the Miami Dolphins.
And if he moves to the Keys with Jimmy Johnson just to catch some fish and go to the beach, it's already too, because he, at 65 he can do whatever he wants. Thank you, Jason, for joining us. While you are cooking, I know you were with George today. What you have this week cooking, Jason? Before we go.
Yeah, we were just talking a little bit about how mini camp was going on, and obviously going on into a break that's coming up. We're going to have some fun things and maybe predicting a 53, what we love to do, and just having some fun.
Yeah, catch the replay on YouTube, Fins Faithful today with George and Jason. Good night. Well, everybody, is one of the slowest days, weeks of the year, and we have 600 watching live on all platforms. So appreciate. Go to YouTube, please like, please subscribe. Go to Fins Faithful, catch the replay. Stephen, any last thoughts?
Nope. Great show. Appreciate everybody showing up.
You missed the mustache, Jason. You have to catch the replay. Good night, everybody.
I was going to ask what's going on with the mustache here.
Nothing good.
It was my attempt. It was my attempt at Jacob Rodriguez, but Shari wasn't having it, so it's okay.
Oh, man, your guys are just
Sammy, before we go, don't forget everybody, suncoastanimalleague.org.
You have to slap me before we go to say that, please, Shari.
Animalleague.org. We're big supporters, love them. They are a no-kill shelter in our area. If you don't want to support our area shelter, find one in your area, but definitely, please do go support your local shelters or suncoastanimalleague.org.
I apologize. I made a promise to Shari because I know it's just during their heart, and I agree 100% that is needed. Matt, you can get your donation to the St. Jude Children's Hospital. Your $100 donation. So thank you, my brother. Not just teasing you, Matt.
I love this.
Good night, everybody. Actually, you know what? Make that donation to Shari's shelter. I think they need it better. So good night, everybody. And always fins up.
Fins up.
Fins up.
Thanks for watching Fins TV. Please like and subscribe. Up.